Hey, let's talk about a common issue in the rental world: early lease termination. In this demonstration, we will refer the tenant as Pax, so picture this. Pax gets a new job in Cape Town, and he now wishes to relocate from Pretoria, and his landlord insists on enforcing the full term of the lease. What are Pax's rights as the tenant, and what penalties might possibly apply to him? So, in South Africa, tenants have rights when it comes to early lease termination, governed by the Consumer Protection Act, CPA, and the Rental Housing Act. And according to Section 14 of the CPA, Pax has the right to terminate a fixed-term lease early by giving 20 business days written notice, even if the lease doesn't allow for it. However, Pax is still responsible for paying any amounts owed up until the cancellation date. It will be important to know that this applies to tenants who are natural persons, not businesses. If Pax was a Pty Ltd and have rented the property as a business, then CPA wouldn't apply in this case. Even though Pax can break the lease early, the landlord can charge a reasonable penalty. This penalty isn't fixed and depends on factors like how much time is left on the lease, the effort it takes to find a new tenant, the lost rent income during that period, other costs the landlord incurs. In some cases, the landlord might use Pax's security deposit to cover the penalty or any unpaid rent. So, what would be reasonable? Well, it's not strictly defined and disputes can arise. If Pax feel the penalty is too high, he can challenge it and approach the Rental Housing Tribunal or a court for mediation. Here's the catch. Job relocation alone is not a valid reason for early termination unless it's specifically mentioned in the lease agreement. If Pax had a relocation clause in his lease agreement, he would be so lucky, but if not, he will need to work with the landlord on a better solution. In this situation, what is it that Pax can do? He can negotiate with the landlord he can ask for reduced penalties, he can assist finding a replacement tenant, and clear communication would better the outcome for both parties. He can also seek dispute resolution. If negotiations fail and there's still a dispute, he can approach the Rental Housing Tribunal or court for a resolution. In a nutshell, tenants can break a lease early, but they're responsible for any costs until the cancellation date. And the landlord can charge a reasonable penalty, while the CPA provides the right to terminate early. The terms of your lease are crucial. Remember that job relocation isn't automatically a valid reason to break the lease unless stated in the agreement. Always review your lease, communicate clearly with your landlord, and if needed, seek legal advice or mediation. Tenants and landlords, please let me know what was your previous experience with early lease termination. Comment and let's keep the conversation going.